He was in the newspaper saying he didn't want to.
What council meeting are you sitting in?
Okay.
Where did you get that from? How did you come to that conclusion?
Well, wasn't there going to be a vote?
We have to take a position
on
what the council is going to do, going to proceed with. Nothing is going to happen unless the council agrees to.
Excuse me.
Do it.
That goes back to, we're not taking a position, or you're not, I'd have to recuse myself. But apparently a position was taken out of procedure when I was originally, the combination was changed. I was told I could not have a copy of the combination, and I could not have access to my documents. This decision was made prior to any procedural issues being followed.
Well, Gene, I apologize for changing the combination and thinking that you were going to resign since you weren't in the city. And after the exchange between you and I and your friend, I was just not in the mood. I was not prohibiting you from getting the combination, but I wasn't going to give it to you.
So does this pass the four-way test? That's the question.
What four-way test?
One in the wall.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. It's fair. You know because, and you know why, Mr. Sharp, that lives in Cedar Creek.
And pays
pays county tax.
Is it legal for them to read this court order?
I just really want to say, I mean, that's the vote that we were going to take. It wasn't to hang him out to dry, to take his papers away from him and, send him down the road.
With all due respect, Mayor, it's already been stated that the gentleman gets.
All right, well, Section 220 of the Ellenton Code requires the mayor and council to be electors. That's people who can vote and be in the city, who actually reside within the corporate limits of the city at least 90 days immediately preceding the date of the election.
And he was in it when he was voted in.
Correct.
But it was illegal.
Y'all let me finish. I'm not saying there was anything wrong with the election. The court order, the circuit court, when they rendered that order, the consent order, the parties submitted on there. The term that's used means it's null from the beginning. As the mayor said, that's the court saying it was never annexed properly in the beginning, so it was never there. So as of right now, according to that court order, he would not qualify because he cannot vote in the city. He can't participate in any of the city business because they're not in the city. Now, I don't know under that whether he was elected at large, whether he's elected to a specific district. Your question on whether or not he moves in somewhere, I guess, would depend on all those. I don't have any of those facts. But if he's not an elector, he can't vote, can't participate in with the city, then he doesn't meet those qualifications. And that's the specifics on the language in the order. That's why that's critical.
Well, attorney, if it's null from inception, doesn't that mean all collected tax monies need to be returned to the
No, that was addressed during the litigation with the owners out there.
So
that was taken into consideration and dealt with during the.
So you get to keep the money, but he's got to go.
Bye.
Okay. Clear?
And everybody here that knows me, I'm from New Orleans, been here all my life, and I don't want anything outside the city limits, son, annex in New Orleans. I mean, I was New Orleans say, New Orleans. I didn't want him on council anyhow, but I think it ought to be done fairly and legally, to everybody. Not just to. I heard what he just said, but yet it ain't legal to give them back that money that we took from them illegally.
Yes, sir.
The same way you said,
The city never gave it back.
they paid the tax.
That's a lot. No, that's what I'm talking about.
A lot of money took for the city.
Well, I think what Mr. Griffith just said addressed that was dealt with in the court in the litigation.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's all politics. You right?
Council is going to give you some details in that regard. One of the issues that were raised during the negotiations of this by the city, or by me, was the situation is not the same as when this property was annexed. When it was annexed, Mr. Rayford, who was the plaintiff in this action, owned all the property. That's not the case when he filed his action. He had other owners out there. And so we took the position we had to address that with the opposing side. And one of the things we did working with the other side, was to come up with a letter that was sent to all the owners out in the annexed area. And that letter basically said, and I don't have a copy of it in front of me, but essentially what it says is, we were asked to provide certain services, the city was at the beginning of this. The city provided those services. I don't think there was ever any contest or complaints about that. And that taxes had been paid while those services had been rendered. Again, this is what Mr. Rayford asked to be rendered when he asked for the property to be annexed. Those things were done. The concern with the plaintiff and the concern with the residents, as we understood it through the plaintiff, was that there were other taxes coming up due this year. I believe the notices went out August, 1st of September, late August. And so we worked on addressing that. And what we did was have a letter go out with the owners on all of the improved property and 80% of the unimproved were the limits that we set, to see if they were agreeable to the de-annexation and if they were agreeable to the fact that they had paid those 2 years' taxes, but that they understood they would not be charged for this year when it went out. And we met those goals, meaning that the owners signed those and produced those back. Mr. Rayford's attorney produced those to us, and so that's how we address that situation. So when you say we're keeping it, yes, but that's keeping it by agreement of the owners who were out there.
I remember when Mr. Rayford first come in here and wanted to develop that. I remember that. And that's just why this says all politics. He got exactly what he wanted out there. He got it done, and then they done the city.
Well, I can't speak to that. I wasn't here. I don't think many people on the council were here during then, so I can't.
But they was hearing you on that.